Good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us on Citizen News in Brief. Let's start off with the top story for a few days now, and that is to do with the ongoing at Kenya Airways. The management there now says it has stopped all negotiations with pilots in regards to the ongoing strike. KQ Chief Executive Officer Alan Kilavuka stated that the airline has already advertised positions for new pilots after 132 pilots called in, stating that they were unfit to fly. He added that the pilots will be held responsible for the reputational and financial damage to the airline.
Negotiation, I want them to go back to work because they're costing us a lot of money. They're sabotaging this country. They have been belligerent. They were trying to hold us hostage. And now I'm saying, let them go back to work before we have any other discussion, because the longer they stay out there, the more we don't have money to pay even their salaries. So they need to go back to work if they want this airline to continue functioning. It will take a long time. It's going to be a painful process. But listen, sometimes you have got to take a pain to make a step forward. You cannot be held hostage. Actually, this is a very dangerous trend. If we allow this to happen in every sector, we as a country will be in trouble. We cannot allow a few people, just because of lack of understanding or being selfish, to hold the country hostage. We have got to break this at some point.
Now, meanwhile, the Kenya Airlines Pilot Association, KALPA, is asking the Kenya Airways management to stop chest thumping and engage them in dialogue to resolve the stalemate that has grounded flight activities at the JKIA. In a press conference, the pilots say they have only had one meeting and are open to talks with the management. They, however, insist they will not return to work unless their demands are met. They laughed off Kenya Airways' threat to replace them after CEO Alan Kilavuka announced that they had advertised the positions, terming the action inconsequential.
We have sent our proposals both to Kenya Airways and the concerned ministries on Friday, Saturday, and yesterday. This afternoon, we sent another proposal with even further concessions. On the other hand, Kenya Airways has made no concessions from the proposals they presented over 2 weeks ago. They have made it clear that they will not meet until our members resume their duties, yet this is contrary to the spirit of negotiation of a return to work formula that is founded on dialogue. We continue to urge Kenya's management to meet us at the table and negotiate with an open mind. Management's ego and chest thumping is to the detriment of Kenyans at large. The persistent harassment and intimidation towards pilots agitating for their rights serves more to agonize than inspire confidence that management is concerned about their welfare. This adversarial approach will not achieve our common goal of getting Kenya Airways back to full operation. It is very important to note that what our members are holding out for is all within the confines of a mutually agreed collective bargaining agreement. We have not asked for improved terms of service. We only demand that Kenya's management honors agreements already in place.
And still on the impact of that strike by Kenya Airways pilots, fresh produce exporters are losing an estimated 200 million shillings daily as a result of the ongoing strike by the Kenya Airways pilots. Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mithika Linturi says the situation is dire and is calling upon the pilots and the national carriers management to resolve the crisis to prevent further losses.
Our country is losing quite some money. I'm told it's around 200 million every day because of the KQ strike. 25% of our meat, I think, is consumed out, is not flying out. 25% is horticultural produce. We have no cargo flights as a country, yet we export so much. I think time has come when we also need to start serious discussions and see how we can be able to ensure that in one way or another, our export does not really must always get serious government support by way of mode of transport to ensure that when there are such imbalances in the labor market, then at least we are sure that we can be able to get our food getting to the markets.
Now, let's move on to other stories. Now, 5 days after the signing of a peace deal between the Ethiopian government and Tigray rebels, the commanders of government forces and the Tigray People's Liberation Front have met in Nairobi under the chairmanship of former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo and retired President Uhuru Kenyatta to discuss the modalities of implementing the agreement. The meeting between senior commanders, which was convened by the African Union Commission, aims at providing a roadmap for disarmament, humanitarian access, and restoration of services in the Tigray region. The former presidents have expressed hope that a lasting solution will be found 1 month and that the two sides will unite for the sake of their country. Ethiopian National Security Advisor Redwan Hussein and TPLF spokesperson Reda Getachew are part of the team attending the peace talks.
The leaders have signed the agreement, but again now our military leaders would pave the way to expedite the implementation. But from the government side, the Prime Minister actually summoned regional presidents, ministers, political leaders, so that they would all embrace and do their best now to reach out to the people in Tigray.
And it is time for the very people who have a deeper understanding of the realities on the ground to figure out how to go about it and to make sure that whatever we come up with is going to result in a lasting peace, not a publicity exercise where we may say we have agreed on a number of things only to renege on our promises and to do things that will set the clock back.
I hope, and very seriously so, that within the next month or so, we will have reached a point where we can say Uhuru.
Indeed, it is a meeting of colleagues who know each other, and colleagues who I am certain at the conclusion of this process will be colleagues who will be working together for the betterment of their country, for the betterment of Ethiopia, for the benefit of our region, and ultimately join us all in our struggle to make Africa a better place and to end and silence the guns permanently so that we can focus on the well-being of our people.
University Academic Staff Union UASU has castigated Education CS Ezekiel Machogu over his proposed withdrawal of funding to public universities. Led by the Union Secretary General Constantine Wasonga, the academic officials described the proposal as reckless and ill-informed.
And us as members of the university community, we gave him opportunity. We gave him the benefit of doubt. Now he's confirming our worries. That is not fit for this position. We want him to come in the open and tell us what he meant. Because as a union, we can petition the president so that he's being removed, he be removed there forthwith. Does he understand that the president signed a charter with the members of the university community? And now that he has taken a position, do we still go to present our views, how to finance university education to the Presidential Working Party on educational reforms? Those are the questions I want you to go to Jogo House and ask him. He should clarify. Then why are Kenyans wasting taxpayers' money on this Presidential Working Party on educational reforms when the Ministry of Education has taken a position that they will no longer fund universities, then why should we pay taxes? By definition, public universities means they are government-owned. The government should fund them through taxpayers' money.
All right, we want to take a look at other stories that are making headlines, and we want to stay within the education sector for a moment. The Education Task Force Committee continued with their sittings across the country to collect views on the education sector. A team led by Professor Collins Odote was in Kisii, where they met various stakeholders drawn from the sector. Now, during the sitting at Kisii University, those who appeared before the committee took issue with the manner in which CBC was implemented, with equipping teachers. They also raised concerns on transition to junior secondary school and drop in funding to public universities.
Without demand of ado,
So we are listening to views on teacher management, we are listening to views on university education and governance, we are listening to views on the relationship between the Ministry of Education and TSC, we are listening to views on the role of stakeholders.
There is the issue of the cost of CBC. We find that CBC is extremely expensive to the parents. So our proposal is that the government should come up with a voted first and ICT voted, so that schools can have
to understand what CBC means, and that's where the problem is.
The introducers of CBC really looked at what and why. What is the content? Why was the objectives? They did not look at how, and the how is the training of teachers. Teachers were not adequately trained.
As we talk now, most schools, particularly in the rural areas, they are not prepared. There are no classrooms. There are no workshops. There are no human resources. And we are talking about implementing CPC. I'm telling you, I'm talking as a Kenyan here, we are just waiting for a major crisis.
One person was killed and his body dumped into the lake following an escalating crisis over fishing in Lake Victoria. 31-year-old Michael Juma, a fisherman from Lela in Homa Bay, was allegedly beaten by a group of rival fishermen for reportedly trespassing onto their territory. And as Laura Otieno reports, a section of fishermen have condemned the incident that has been triggered by the dwindling stocks of Lake Victoria.
Scenes at Lela Beach in Homa Bay as fishermen converged to retrieve the body of 31-year-old Michael Juma. Juma met his death on Friday evening after he and a group of 4 other fishermen were attacked in Lake Victoria, reportedly by fishermen from Duru Beach in Bita on allegations of trespassing.
The guys came to kill us because they were shouting that they're killing us, carrying pangas and ubos. They were coming to us and they wanted to kill us. After that, they kicked our boat and we capsized.
Kuongea nao hakuna mwenye anatusikia hata kidogo. Wakaanza kuturusha ndani ya maji moja moja. Bahati mbaya wakachapa Juma na panga. Yeye ndiye alitupa ati huyu atakufa. Akatolewa ndani ya boat, akatupwa ndani.
Homa Bay Sub-County Police Commander Sami Koskei revealed that the incident is being treated as a murder case with investigations already underway. The fishermen have, however, called for stern action, accusing some of their counterparts of extortion.
There's a legal patrol which is being carried out by the people of Ndoro. They are looking for money. They beat up people, they take their fish. So we are requesting the government to help us so that these illegal patrols cannot happen again.
3 other fishermen are recuperating from the attack, with the body of the deceased being moved to the Homa Bay County morgue for a post-mortem examination. Laura Otieno, Citizen TV.
All right, let's focus on Meru County now, where the MCAs have agreed to end the standoff with the county governor, Kawira Mwangaza. The truce was brokered by the Controller of Budget, Dr. Margaret Nyakongo, during a meeting that was held here in Nairobi. The Controller of Budget clarified to the MCAs that the ward fund they were demanding was illegal and instead advised them to push ward development projects through the County Integrated Development Plan, CIDP, or the Annual Development Plan, ADP.
And from today, I'm so happy, and from now, if it is ward development projects, we are very ready as county government of Meru to share with them what has been discussed, what has been anchored in CIDP.
Tumesema ya kwamba kutoka leo sasa tuko tayari kufanya kazi ya bunge peke yake. Kwa hivyo tunaomba Mheshimiwa Gavana, tafadhali kama ni supplementary budget leta sisi tukupitishie. Ndio kesho, sababu sasa ni wakati wa mvua, ukienda pale mashinani ukiitishwa barabara sababu wewe ndio umebeba hiyo mzigo wote, usikaje kulaumu MCAs wa Meru ukisema ya kwamba hakuna supplementary ambayo wamekupitishia.
Ndio sisi tunaambia wananchi wa Meru na wananchi wa Kenya. Sisi tukiwa wabunge, sisi kazi yetu imebaki, tutakuwa tunaenda matanga, tunaenda weddings, tunaenda birthday parties, tunaenda kanisa. Hiyo vitu ndio tulikuwa tutafanya, ndio kazi yetu. Kwa hivyo ile mkiwa na shinda yote, tafadhali msiulize waheshimiwa wabunge, ulizeni gavana. Asante.
Tunataka kuambia mwananchi wa Meru, sisi tuko nyuma ya MCAs wetu, tutafanya roles zetu tatu kama kawaida: representation, oversight na legislation.
Ile maneno yote tuliwaambia tutawafanyia wakati tulikuwa tunaomba kura, kutoka saa hii iko katika mikono ya gavana wetu, kwa sababu gavana amesema yeye ndiye atafanya kazi zote zenye zinafaa kufanywa katika Meru County.
All right, it's finally good to see some resolution on that standoff that was threatening service delivery to the people of Meru County, who'd have been the ultimate losers if that row continued. So wishing them the very best of luck as they continue with serving the people of Meru County. That's where we leave it this afternoon. Thanks very much for watching. 7 and 9 o'clock, we'll have more news for you. Stay with Citizen Television.